Inside the United Center in Chicago, site of the Democratic National Convention. Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris will formally accept the Democratic presidential nomination. And if you happen to tune in for the final night of the Democratic National Convention, you might spot a few familiar faces on stage.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin are among tonight's speakers. News 10's Riley Connell is in studio with more about how their participation could put an even brighter political spotlight on the state of Michigan.
Yeah, you know, David and Ann, Governor Whitmer and Congresswoman Slotkin are not the only Michiganders to make an appearance at the convention. Their remarks tonight come just one day after a speech by Attorney General Dana Nessel. One political expert from Michigan State University says it's a sign that Michigan plays an important role in the upcoming presidential election.
You can pry this wedding band from my cold, dead, gay hand.
A strong statement from Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, the first in a lineup of state officials speaking at the Democratic National Convention, with Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin to follow.
It's no surprise that Michigan is a swing state and right up there in terms of the 2 or 3 most critical states in the presidential election that you would see Michigan officials highlighted.
Public policy expert Matt Grossman says Michigan's role as a swing state means it could be the one to tip the scales in a close presidential race. As Michigan leaders become more well-known by a national audience, he says the state could remain an important political player.
There is evidence that policymakers direct resources to places that might be influential in their elections. So it's possible we could stand to get some benefit out of that.
We've got someone who talks about economic opportunity for everyone and someone who only looks out for himself.
Governor Whitmer voicing her support for Democratic nominee Kamala Harris ahead of her own convention speech. But Grossman says Democratic enthusiasm does not guarantee that Michigan stays a blue state.
There's a good chance that Republicans could take control of the state legislature, that they could win the presidential election in Michigan and win the Senate race. So everything is still up to the voters this year and to the state as a whole moving forward.
And Grossman expects that people could see a lot more of Governor Whitmer moving forward, calling her one of the rising stars of the Democratic Party as she continues to gain traction with voters across the U.S. David?
All right, Riley, thank you. Former President Donald Trump campaigned at the southern border